All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of the Ashish Ddavidd Show. We are in 65 plus countries on 12 international platforms. And today's show is very special because I have probably, I might be wrong, this might change in the future, but probably the youngest, definitely the youngest person on the show till now. He is a young man, okay? He's into music, he's into blues, and so many different things. So before we go any further, I'd like to announce and welcome to the Ashish Ddavidd Show, Brad Pagdiwala. Brad, what's up, man? How are you feeling? Welcome to the show.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Thank you, man. I'm superb. How does it feel to be on the Ashish Ddavidd Show?
I'm very excited. I've seen all of your videos, and I know that it's generally as a young musician, it's definitely something that I've always wanted to do to get interviewed by somebody, to share my experience so far with somebody. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Super, man. So how did you get to hear about the Ashish Ddavidd Show, and what made you think that you want to be a part of the show?
So actually, my mother was on Facebook, and we like to see a lot of things related to music,
right?
Because I'm into music, and we just want to know how people are online, how people react online, and how these interviews go. So we wanted to, So I thought, okay, my mother saw your Facebook channel, your Facebook page rather. And she saw that there was a post saying you are inviting people to ask for interviews.
Yes.
So I thought I'm definitely interested for doing that, because I might have a special, I might be a different kind of view, because I'm not yet, in a career path or something like that. I'm just doing it out of passion as a young person. So, and I just generally thought that I'm doing music, why not try an interview? I've interviewed other musicians in the past, but I've never been interviewed myself. So I was pretty excited. So I thought might as well send my video in. How can it go wrong?
I also feel the same way. I've been interviewing so many people. Somebody should also interview me. Maybe in the next show, Brad, you could interview me, man. That'll be also a lot of fun.
Great idea.
But I'm so happy that you heard about the show through your mom. Your mom's name is Rohini, right?
Yeah, Rohini.
Rohini and Cyrus, right? Those are your parents. They're both on my Facebook, and so they've known about the show. And as a matter of fact, Brad, I have to tell you, I have of late been interviewing so many people that exactly people like you have to see these interviews. Okay, so I'm very bad with names. Okay, so I'm going. So I'll tell you. Okay, there is this gentleman called Anand Kulkarni, who's in Canada. He is one guy. Then who else have I been interviewing, man? It's just I do so many things, sometimes it's just difficult. Then I interviewed somebody called Devjit Mitra. Okay, I interviewed somebody called Mr. Christopher Woolley. All right,
yeah, I've seen his video on your
right,
Facebook page.
And so all these people are Brad, custom tailored for you, because you know what, they are talking about their life's experience, about music, about how they started their journeys in bands, all the good and bad experiences, how they formed their first bands, what was the lesson that they learned from all that. So, man, you are in luck, and you are the person all these people are coming for, and now you are on the show as well. So, another warm, welcome to you. How would you describe Brad Pagdiwala to somebody who knows absolutely nothing about Brad Pagdiwala?
So I'd say that I spend a majority of my day doing music. I don't particularly enjoy listening to music. I love playing music. It's odd. Even my mother says it's odd that I don't listen to music as much as I play music. So generally in my day, I spend my day, recording songs. I like to record a lot of my own songs. I have about 7 to 8 of my own songs, and I just generally have projects always working. So recently I'm working on another song of mine, actually 2 songs at the same time. So I'm always busy doing something or the other. So I'll either be practicing my instruments. I like to play guitar. I like to hook up to the amplifier and just loop some backing tracks and play on. And I also generally really like to make my own music, like be creative. I also spend some time of my day gaming. I mean, I'm a 15-year-old. You can't expect me to not game. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah, school is of course a very important part of my life right now, especially that it's online. So I have to spend some part of my day doing classes, school. But yeah, I do spend a lot of my day on the music side of it.
How music started for you when you were really young. What was your first experiences? Tell us a little bit about
All
that.
right. Actually, my parents and my family has no connection to music at all. My mother's brother is into sound engineering, but nothing really related to instruments and music per se. My father's side of the family, like, almost never listens to music. Like, my father can't handle listening to songs for more than an hour or two. If he's having a drink once in a while, maybe that's all right in the background. But like, that's where my habit comes from, that I can't listen to music intently for long. So I started music. I started learning music at the age of 10, which is fairly recent, about 5 years ago. And I actually started learning because I was generally interested in learning the guitar, and also I had a friend who also played the guitar. His name was Aditya. He played the guitar and piano, and I would see him play, and I would think that's an interesting thing. It looks like a fun thing to do. So I thought I should try it out. And my parents have actually always been open. My parents have never had a problem with me doing whatever I wanted to do. So the second I asked my mother, can I, sign up for guitar classes? Can I try piano? There was no issue. She said, of course, there's no harm in doing it. And we started off just, doing it as a hobby, but now it's actually grown into something that I really, really enjoy. And it would be a dream come true to have it as my future, as a career. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey.
So you're saying you're not listening to so much music, but you like playing music. So how ये
Yes.
कैसे हो गया? How did this happen?
I have no idea. It's a really weird thing. I actually have no idea why. The only time I listen to music is if I'm on a walk. Otherwise, I don't have the urge to, sit and listen to music and dissect songs. Because generally, when there is music playing, as a guy who tries to make his own songs, especially me trying to, I have recently tried to learn producing, especially on softwares, things like Logic. And I have tried to understand how songs are made the way they are, and how songs become, how famous they are. What are the aspects to a song? So whenever I'm listening to music, I can only focus on that. So even if there's, let's say, my parents have invited a few friends over, and of course not now, but I'm saying generally, if there's music playing, I will listen. I'll always, have my brain focusing on the music at some part. I try and understand. I'll always, try and dissect the song. So automatically, I don't sit and listen to music all throughout the day, because it's tiring after a certain point. Oddly enough, I think I never really listen to music for the fun of it. I listen to music in order to understand it, in order to dissect it. But I have fun playing my own music. I have fun making my own music. It's a bit odd to understand, but at least that's how my brain works.
So I mean, I'm just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
You play the blues, is what I understand, right?
Yes, I.
How do
I
you
play the
decide?
blues.
How do you decide what song you want to play? Because you're doing a fair bit of covers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, when I do covers, I actually mainly only focus on making my own songs. I don't know why. I just don't have that. I feel like if I'm a musician, I should do my own stuff. I shouldn't. There's nothing special in doing somebody else's stuff.
Right.
There's that certain personality kind of thing. When you make your own song, you can express your own things. Whatever your story is, you can say it. If I have something going on in school, I can express it through my song. If anything is going on, I like to sit down and make my own chord progressions, make my own stuff, rather than learning. Of course, I had to learn songs. Like on my piano, I'm currently learning songs like Elton John songs, so that I gain that, at least learn the instrument. But
By
yeah.
the way, I'm about to cover a song by Elton John and George Michael. and I'm actually
Don't let
looking.
the sun go down on
Don't
me.
let the sun go down on me, man.
That's the song that I'm learning. That's the song that I'm actually playing on the piano.
So
That's
so
such
you
a
know,
cool.
I'm sort of collaborating with another lady, and
Okay.
she's gonna do either the Elton John part or the George Michael
George
part.
Michael part.
So
Okay.
quite a coincidence, man.
But
Both of us are working on the same
yeah, that
song
was
right now.
pretty. Yeah.
So I mean, like, besides music, man, what is happening in your life? Do you have a girlfriend? Like, do you get into fights? What do you guys do, man? I don't know what 15-year-olds
At
are up to right
least
now.
right now, since lockdown is going on and all of this,
Of
my
course,
day is completely vela. Like I have nothing to do,
that's
So
super cool,
automatically,
man. When I was
yeah.
15, I was pretty much the same, not really doing much either.
So generally, in normal circumstances, also, I have two or three friends,
Right.
but majority of my day was spent either in school. At that time, when school was physical, I think a lot of time was spent, doing school,
Uh-huh.
especially because I had to go. So my school is in Goregaon, so a lot of time was spent going to school, coming back to school, and then doing my classes like a math tuition or maybe my piano or guitar classes. So yeah, a majority of my day was spent doing that stuff. But yeah, so now I have managed to spend a lot of my time on my music, and now in this past year I have focused a lot on creating my own songs. Otherwise it was just learning how to play the instrument itself, learning how to play guitar, how to make a solo on a guitar, something like that, how to improvise. Now I am focusing a lot on making my own songs, the production aspect of it, how to use a synthesizer, how to mix a song. So it's been pretty fun in this lockdown. That's how I managed to spend my day.
And so, when you decided to get lessons, did you have somebody in school, or did you get lessons outside? Or if you went outside, where did you go?
So in my school, we do have music classes. When I was, I think, in second or third grade, actually maybe sorry, fifth grade, I had a music teacher, and he was really really nice to me. At that time, I had begun developing interest in music, so he could identify it. Although we had those really basic recorder lessons, where you learn how to play Mary Had Little Lamb and
Yes.
all. And then I'd be sitting and playing like that, just trying to,
Jingle bells,
understand.
happy
Yeah.
birthday, do a deer, a female deer.
Yeah, all of those basic things. I think my music teacher had seen that I had some kind of inclination to it, I was interested in it, and that had also happened at that time when I met my friend, and he was playing those instruments. He was playing guitar and piano. So both of those sides, I decided to take outside classes outside of school, because in school, you have those. You have a curriculum. It's not like the teacher can teach you whatever you want. So at that time I was learning recorder and things like that. So I decided to take up on guitar and piano.
So you started learning the guitar when you were in class 10, is what you're saying?
Not in
Approx.
class 10, when I was 10 years old. I
When you
am
were
currently in ninth grade. Yeah.
Okay, right. Sorry. So, okay, so it's been 5 years that you've been playing the guitar now,
Yeah, more or
approximately.
less. Yeah.
More or less. So, where do you see yourself? Like, I mean, I know like the future is pretty like unpredictable. I
Yeah.
mean, you're interested in this right now, but maybe that might
Yeah.
change. But right now, as a 15-year-old, what is like that dream of yours? So I'll tell you my dream. Okay, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
like when I started doing voiceovers, my dream was to do voiceovers for National Geographic Channel and for Discovery
Oh,
Channel.
yeah.
And
David Attenborough and all
yeah.
those guys, no?
I actually ended up doing that, man. I do voiceovers for National Geographic and for Discovery now. So
Oh wow,
I
that's
mean,
amazing.
yeah, you can dream. Your dreams can be as crazy as that, and they can come true.
Yeah.
So, what is
Yeah.
your dream, Brad, when you think of the guitar? Because I'm pretty sure that a 15-year-old doesn't think practically. Okay, when you're
Yeah.
15, you're thinking the craziest shit out there,
Yeah.
right? You're thinking
That's true.
Woodstock.
Yeah.
You're thinking Brian
Yeah.
Adams. You're thinking the Wembley Arena. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So what are some of your
Yeah.
dreams, man?
So recently with this COVID situation and all of that, my dreams have become a little more practical.
No, I want to know the
But-
original version of the
yeah,
dream.
yeah, I'm gonna explain that. So before I was thinking that once I developed my passion for music, and I had performed on stage a few times in school and all. We had one or two talent shows in school. Just a performance for International Day, any ceremony. I'd enjoy performing on stage. So I always wanted to be a stage performer, somebody like Elton John performing to millions of people, or
Yes.
you know. Like a band like AC/DC who would have those crazy rock songs, and the audience would be like, so like get everybody to love my music, not perform cover songs,
Right.
but make my own songs and make them a household name all over the world.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
But here is something that I would encourage you to think about, Brad. So I've been, in the music scene for close to 2 decades now. My band won the Great Indian Rock Competition once.
Oh, okay.
I've sung for in the studio and in live and on record with India's most well-known Hindi band, Euphoria.
Okay, that's amazing.
I've sung with a cappella choirs, I've sung in bands, I've sung in Hindi films, I've sung for ad jingles, and I've been a part of around like a dozen bands, and I still have a few. Currently, I also have an international collaboration of musicians from all over the countries, all over the world. And what I can actually tell you out of my experience is that when I was, 14, 15 years old, I also, wanted to sort of make my own music and stuff. And I'm already making that. I've made a lot of songs.
Yeah.
What I understood is, songwriting is like any other art, right? Where you need to see what is the format, you need to study what works, which I think you're already doing.
Yeah.
But because it's also, besides an art form, it's also a craft. There is a procedure to do that thing that you do in every song.
Yeah, I agree.
So, in order to, familiarize yourself with that process of understanding, that formula and applying it, that is one of the 2 reasons why you need to, do covers for a reasonable amount of time in your life. Because right now you've just probably, you're in that current initial phase of your life where you're starting to do this, right?
Yeah.
So, although your intention is good, you might want to reconsider, tweaking your approach to it.
Yeah.
Like, right? I mean, what I mean is, so for example, if you're an architect, all right, the reason why you will study different buildings which have already been built is not because they want you to make the same thing, right?
Yeah. When you understand how it.
Exactly. So when you are, studying, which is exactly what you're doing, when you're performing covers, you understand what the process of performing a song is. It doesn't automatically imply that you're trying to emulate that person, or you're trying to prove that, you're better than them, or you're trying to put yourself in the same boat. No. Why you're doing it is so that you as an individual, you guys as a band understand how it is to do these songs and what they feel like, right?
Yeah.
Because then you'll understand why, a paragraph needs to come, and then what is the point of having, a bridge, or where does the solo fit in, or how long does the solo need to be?
Yeah.
Unless you haven't done a lot of songs, how would you understand all of that, right?
While I don't enjoy doing covers right now, through my musical journey of learning in the 5 years, I had to learn many songs. I had to, in my initial guitar class, I had to learn how to play songs from an exam point of view. I realized I was not into the exam scheme after I reached 5th grade. So then after that, but yes, I have I have played a lot of songs. I've learned how to play things like Led Zeppelin songs. I've learned solos. So I have learned that kind of thing. But what I was trying to say is, now I like to focus on my originals because I'm understanding the flow. So from my piano class, my teacher's also teaching me a lot about how a song is written, how chord progressions work together, how you can have a 7th and you can include colors like 9s and 11s, all of that. That sort of theory aspect to it. But it also helps me understand, okay, let's say there's a bridge in this song. What chord progression would fit? What would sound interesting, but would also change the song, Something that would have some interesting aspect to it. And like I said, when I do listen to music, I always, deconstruct it. So I'd understand, okay, maybe in this part I can change the drums, I can make it a drum break, with only shakers and tambourines instead of having the same drum beat
And
throughout.
all this is also
So
very
yeah.
good. But another thing that you want to sort of keep away from, because down the years I've seen so many kinds of musicians, and they're all kinds. Trust me.
Yeah.
Another type of musician that you want to avoid being is one who is so shelled in himself and who has no idea of what is going on around him in the world.
Right.
See,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
at the end of the day, your music is a product, right?
Yeah.
Everything, whenever there is music made, there is a problem being solved and there is money being made because there's a problem being solved. So, for example, people in their early 20s or in their teenage years generally have a problem with establishment and with rules, which is why at that phase of their life, they like to hear music which is very aggressive, music which is
Yeah.
full of rebellion, music which is, against the government
Yeah.
and rage against the machine and metal and, you know,
Yeah.
people equal shit and I don't know what all, man. Like the list goes on. Then when there is a phase where a person falls in love, which is like the teenage years, when you have infatuation. So that is a phase of a person's life when he wants to listen to lovey-dovey stuff, the same stuff that he will
Yeah.
hate and hate himself for loving 5 years from then.
Yeah.
And then when a person goes into that phase of his life and he's finished his job and career and he's now looking for a to settle in or settle down or whatever, that is when his musical taste changes again.
Yeah.
And then when you hit your 30s or whatever, then you look back at the music which the kids at that time are listening, and all of that music sounds like shit to them. They're like, oh my god, kids these
Yeah,
days are
yeah.
listening to shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, for example,
Yeah.
maybe your dad will right now listen to some teenager listening to music and they're like, what shit are these kids listening to, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, anything that is on the charts to music that's playing in the elevator, everything is made with a certain purpose. Until you're not
Yeah.
in touch with people around you or what people are listening to or what kind of music is out there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you're just 15, there is so much more for you to discover. Till you're not
Yeah.
in touch with all of it, how would you know what you want to do? See, once you've learned the rules, you can break them.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the rules, you're pretty much in the dark. So
Yeah.
so I think you're already in the right direction, but I thought I should add my 2 cents of gyan
Yeah.
to maybe help you along.
No, of course. So I've also I can also relate to that. When I was younger, at least even in the past 2-3 years, I was really into listening to blues music. I was listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King. That's all I would listen to. Recently, now when I've started making my own songs, I've realized that this is not the thing people are interested in anymore.
Correct.
It doesn't have a place in this world right now. And so while I can continue to listen to it, while I can continue to share my love for it and play it once in a while, I cannot develop songs and try and have a try and create a set amount of songs that I know that are only blues. I need to have that diversity. So recently, when I've started making my own songs, I've tried to divert into the pop genre, try and use different kinds of drums, different kinds of sounds. Before, I was only using my distortion pedal. You'd never see me play without that.
Was it? Wait, let
first
me guess.
spectrum.
Was it the Boss MT2 or MT3 or 4?
So actually, that is what most guitarists would use, but for some reason, I have not found it anywhere. So I have this pedal called the
Fuzz.
T-Rex. I don't
Yeah, the T-Rex,
No,
alright.
Yeah. So the company is T-Rex. I don't really know the name, but it's a really nice distortion pedal. So I would always just use that. Before that, I had a really metal metal distortion pedal, because when I first had that, I didn't know what pedals were and I didn't know that. So I thought, okay, this is distortion, this is what those bands would use. So I got it home, one of those really cheap ones. And so I understood that music is, I kind of developed and changed based on what people are listening to. That's not to say that I'm now trying to make rap songs. No. I'm not that experimental, but I am trying to, adjust and kind of manipulate my ways of thinking based on what's going on, so yeah.
I think you might want to probably, listen to a little bit of John Mayer. I think
Oh, I listen to him. Yeah, I love, so like
because I think
recently I've
in
tried
his some of
learning
his
some of his
albums,
songs.
he's
Yeah,
taken his blues sensibilities and put them in
yeah,
a
he's
pop kind of
yeah
package.
transformed them. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that is
mean,
also something I'm interested. Yeah, in.
yeah. So and another
Yeah.
thing that I'd like to I'm so sorry. I'm giving you so much ज्ञान बिना बात का तुमने मांगा भी नहीं है.
No, no, no,
मैं
I
तब
need
भी
it.
तुमको
I
दे रहा
want
हूँ.
it.
So what I would say is, see, there is all kinds of people who listen to all kinds of music. So instead of going outside and trying to search for answers, I think you should go inside and, like, because if you are really good at something and if you have passion for something, it's probably a better idea to just take that and make something out of that rather than do something completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Like, fortunately, I have had parents who completely support me in whatever I
Yes.
wanted to. I know a lot of I don't know people personally, but I know that people are generally oppressed by others not doing what they want to do. Fortunately, that's not the case with me at all. Even my parents, my grandparents, nobody has a problem with me doing music, and fortunately, I've been able to I've been able to show improvement. It's not like I'm playing the same Mary Had a Little Lamb for 3 years straight. So that way I'm getting support and I'm able to do what I love. And fortunately right now I'm in the the age group where you do need to kind of understand your future. School is starting
Yes.
to give us college counseling and all of that. That pressure for the future and things like that. So I'm
Dude,
kind
I
of
want to know. I want to know about this counseling. What are they asking you to do? Please tell me that they're not telling you to do MBA, engineering, or doctorate.
no, 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 no. So that's the past.
Yes.
Now it's very different, especially
Thank
in my
God it's
school.
the past, man.
Yeah, especially in my school, because my school is an IB school. But like, at least I know that I have many options because I'm interested in subjects other than music. I actually do love maths. I love maths and science, and I also like software. Software development and things like that. So I have I have many options, but I'm lucky to find something that I actually love, that I find passionate, and that my parents support me in. So yeah.
Right. So I would also say that it's great to be really passionate about something, but it's also great to have other
Second options.
options.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because see, like for example, I can talk about myself, and of course, all those people who I listed in the beginning of the show that these guys are going to come on the show, they will also tell you the same thing, Brad. So what I will tell you is my example. I have always been passionate about music. I've been singing, right? But at the same time, parallelly, I am also a film and television production student. So I did my postgrad in film and television production. And I was working for a long time as a creative head in an advertising agency where I would sort of get productions made.
Oh.
Okay. So everything from like, getting in touch with the marketing departments of companies, telling them that, these are the services my production house provides, to actually getting, the crew and everything in place, shooting the films, getting them post production, blah 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 blah. Getting all that done. So I was a film and television production student.
Yeah.
One day I landed up in a radio station, and then everything changed, and now it's been 2 decades I've been working in voice and radio primarily. That has been my bread and butter. Music is something I do because I'm passionate about it.
As a hobby.
As a hobby, as a semi-professional hobby, because I've done pretty much most of the things that people. I have a band. We gig professionally. I've sung in jingles. I've sung for a couple of films. I charge crazy money. Things like that. So what I would say is that do that, and if it happens for you, that's great. But always remember that things where a lot of talent is involved are always kind of like a roll of the dice. Things might work for you, but they also might not. There are countless examples. Look at Amitabh Bachchan. He was so successful, but then if you look at his son, somehow not as big a star. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, all respect to Abhishek Bachchan and whoever else, but things can work, things can't work, and that's always your luck, they say that in music and entertainment, luck is a big thing. But if you are working hard and if you have other skills developed, what it makes you is a multifaceted personality, and
Yeah.
you have your eggs in more than one basket.
Yeah, so I have had an interview with Mohan Kannan. Are you aware of his band was Agni? He was
Yeah.
part of Agni. So
So we
he
were having a
also
conversation
told me-
yesterday about this guy, Anand Kulkarni. So apparently
yeah.
his band was given a chance by Agni in Pune back in the day.
Okay, that's
So a lot of
so many
stories about yeah. So a lot of stories will come up in the interviews that I'll release. Today I'll be releasing one, by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll check it out for sure.
Yes.
But anyway, so I was saying I was interviewing Mohan Kannan because I generally had a lot of questions about how music as a career works, and he also told me it's always important to understand that it's a passion, and that at the end of the day everybody doesn't achieve what they have been wanting to do. If I can give an example, my father was always interested in aerodynamics and airplanes and engineering in airplanes, but he never had the opportunity. He was not as lucky as me to have the opportunity, so he ended up getting in the film business. Fortunately, he was lucky enough to find new love for advertising, for filming. So he has been lucky enough to find something else that he loves. So yeah, but I always know that you need to have more options. I've decided to I'm focusing in my math and science studies because
Yes.
I'm interested in that kind of stuff. And also I've also taken courses on coding, things like that, so that I have knowledge and I have I have experience, so that I understand what I'm interested in, what I like, what I don't like, and so that I can have a fairly planned out future.
Exactly. And I'll tell you something like Brad, passion and interest is kind of like a soda, right? Like you open it and the fizz is there. So while the
Yeah.
fizz is there, you got to make the most of that soda, right? So
Yeah.
when you have passion and interest in something, exploit it till the fullest, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting connection. Soda
Yeah,
bottle.
I mean,
never
see,
thought of
see,
that.
see, think about it. It's like how often, like say for example, if there's a soda bottle, how often will you just open it and keep it and tell yourself, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have this like after 2 days. How often do you do that? Like never.
That's a
Nobody
Yeah,
does
a bit
that,
odd.
right? So,
Yeah.
so the thing is, when you are feeling something strongly for anything, whether it's music, whether it's coding, whether it's sports, or whether it's information technology, apps, developing software, whatever it is, do it, because you know what? After some time, that fizz might go, and then
Yeah.
when you try to do the same thing, it doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
So while the fizz is there, make the most of it, and don't be afraid of changing your mind.
Yeah.
Dude, people change their mind all the time. Like when
Yeah.
I did my postgrad in film and television production, I was thinking I'll be in Bombay working under some director, making films, whatever.
Yeah.
And when radio and voice happened, I was like, man, this is awesome. I'll stop doing this when I feel the same way about something else. And it was also making financial sense, And
Yeah,
almost 18 years down the line, I feel the exact same way.
that's great.
So you never know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're at an age where the world is like full of opportunities.
Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah,
things
it's
that you could
fortunate
do.
that I found this at my age.
Yeah, I mean, like, for all you know, 3 years down the line, I'll be interviewing Brad Pagdiwala in another season of the Ashish Ddavidd show, and you'll be like, bro, I'm into making films now.
Yeah.
Or I'm into
You never
scuba
know.
diving. Or I don't know, I'm into art. You could, change your mind, and that's
Yeah.
also okay. That's fine too, as well.
Yeah.
So what are the current things, Brad, that you are passionate about and you're into these days?
Honestly, my day is, as I said before, it's mainly music. It's not that I don't have time for other things, but it's like, if I have something I'm enjoying, and if I have so much time, and this lockdown has given me the opportunity to spend as much time as I can focusing on my future and my music.
Right.
So I'm always stay in my room messing around with the synth, or just playing something on the guitar, noodling around. Like, my favorite thing to do, my favorite pastime, is to watch TV and sit with my guitar. It's a weird thing, but I've managed to get a lot of tunes and a lot of ideas from just looking at the TV, watching some random episode. I don't know what's going on, but I'm also just noodling around with my guitar.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think I have a passion or for anything else right now as strong as I have for music. So yes.
Are you watching something interesting on Netflix or any series that you're into? Tell us that.
So I'm actually not that big a Netflix binger, as it
Okay.
is called. But I do occasionally watch certain series. So my parents and we like to sit down once in a while. Friends mention certain series, and so
You should check
we
this
ended up
out. So
watching.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
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 like
so do
right
you
now
have
I'm
any?
watching a.
Yeah, yeah. What you watching right
Yeah,
now?
sorry. So right now we're watching a series called Peaky Blinders. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. But otherwise, when I'm watching TV, generally I don't like sit with Netflix and watch series and episodes and movies. I just go to my normal Tata Sky,
Yeah.
sit and see whatever's coming on Comedy
I
Central.
have
Sometimes
I
I
have
get
Tata
Disney
Sky as
also.
well.
God knows.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of freedom from Netflix. Like, you get to choose whatever you want, but there's also that certain, there's a little magic to just sitting and seeing whatever's there available on
I know.
TV.
Like it's
Yeah,
like that old school charm of just seeing
yeah,
what's happening
yeah,
rather than
yeah,
you going and selecting something, because the
yeah. It's not
act of
like
going in, yeah, going and selecting is like so
yeah.
confusing, man. How the hell do
And
I
it's
know
also
what to
like you're
choose?
intently watching, and you're watching with focus, and like you're trying to
Yeah.
do something. You're trying to, but when you're sitting and watching TV, normal Tata Sky, it's like, chalo kuch nahi ho raha hai, to
Yeah, next channel, next
you
channel.
can,
You can set your
then okay,
favorites,
yeah.
that's the cool part.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you can. I'm checking. Okay, next maybe Big Bang Theory is coming. Okay, so I'll see. And it starts on a random episode. It doesn't make a difference to me.
Exactly.
Especially if I'm sitting and just playing with my guitar, then it's not like I'm focusing on either thing. It's like 50% of my brain is looking at the guitar, then 50 at the TV. So it's an interesting way to spend the day, I will say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But yeah.
absolutely, man. And tell us about what video games are you in, man? Because yeah, okay, okay, I've been I've been intending to get myself a console, and everybody is telling me that I should wait for the new PlayStation to arrive or
Yes,
something.
so my parents don't like to get me those consoles and things like that. Long ago, I had an Xbox 360,
Okay.
and I had 2 or 3 games on it. But of course, me as a child ruins everything. So of course that went in the dustbin after a while, and so after that, I've a lot of my friends have PS4s, and like another friend of mine has like this Windows PC with a gaming mouse and all of that. So
Oh,
while
okay.
I wouldn't mind getting a PS5 and getting just few games. My parents have made sure that I don't get those kind of things again,
I
because then
think
a lot
people
of
are
my
too
time would
addicted
get
to it,
spent.
man.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
are
it
too
is
addicted to it.
actually. I'd also like to say right now I have a MacBook for my school. I downloaded a game called Minecraft on it, and I've gotten so addicted to it. So it's obvious why my parents don't want me to get PS4s and things like that, because then it kind of becomes like a second nature. You have nothing to do. Okay, straight away go to that. And my mother tells me that it's important to be bored sometimes, so that you can spend time
Yes.
doing something that's interesting to you, and that so like so you can do something creative. You can go and have a nap, but that's more productive than gaming for 4 5 hours straight, you know so
Yes. As a
yeah.
matter of fact, that's very good that your mom actually told you that it's important to get bored, because when you get bored, you think of ways to actually,
Yeah,
do
solve the
something,
boredom.
solve the
Yeah.
problem. And trust me, guys, everybody who's watching this right now all over the world, Instagram stories is not the solution.
Yeah.
YouTube is not the solution. You've got to do something like creative, and that's the only way that boredom actually goes.
I will say though that right now in this time, with the amount of things we have to do to waste our time, not even spend it, productively, it's very difficult to just put the phone away and
Yes.
close the laptop. And even in school, like now that school is online, it's so easy to get distracted. Like it's very difficult. But my mother makes sure that sometimes I don't have anything to do, then automatically if I'm not doing anything and if my father's taking my phone, then I'll say okay, fine, might as well just get my guitar set up and maybe loop onto something and just play a little bit, and then my evening gets spent trying to make a new tune, a new chord progression,
Yeah.
just basically things like that. So it's, I will say my parents' beliefs have been very beneficial to me, especially now. I think a lot of people have allowed their children to game, and my parents have also allowed me to game a lot. My parents have at least got me a gaming mouse also.
Yes.
But after that, they also make sure that I don't do anything for some time. I go out every day, make sure I go for a walk, even if it's 30 minutes. Some physical activity has to happen. You have to leave the house, you have to leave that confined space, go out. You don't have to run, you can just walk. Just make sure you have a time in the day where you're not sitting on the screen, where you're not doing all of these crazy things. So yeah.
Super,
Yeah.
man. And also, like, for the other people, I'm pretty sure you'll share this with your friends. And for them also, if somebody, wants to know how are you learning Logic Pro X, but
It's a complex software. Yeah.
it's the simplest software. What are you
What?
saying?
No, no, as in,
You want to know
I'm saying,
complex? You should go to Pro Tools, man. I think it's. But you know what? I'll tell you, Brad. It's like, say for example, if you are more comfortable with using a ball pen, and I'm
yeah,
more comfortable using a fountain pen,
yeah.
or maybe I
And
just like
we have
pencils.
our own ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, all digital audio workstations or DAWs basically
Yeah.
do the same thing. You know what I mean?
So I had started off using GarageBand, the most simple thing, and I actually started using Logic maybe 2 months ago. So you open Logic and there's all of those, that control panel and all. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
How am I going to understand all of this? Fortunately, I recently started singing classes, and fortunately, my singing teacher's also into producing,
Okay.
and that's what I'm also into. So he is also showing me certain tools on Logic, certain abilities, certain things you can do on Logic. So I'm getting a lot of help, which is great. So I have a lot of, you know I'm able to do whatever I want to. I'm able to experiment with Logic.
So,
And
so the
yeah.
good part about Logic is that Logic Pro X has been around for a while now. So, there are a lot of YouTube channels which
Tutorials. Yeah.
teach you how to do what. So,
Yeah.
how I started learning Logic was that I just, used to search, how should I do this? Or how should
Yeah.
I do that?
Yeah,
Or,
I do
or
that.
how do I,
Cut and
yeah,
play and
how do
things like
I
that.
make that tool, and, how do I put it on a grid, or how
Yeah.
do I just solo this track and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And
And then
somehow,
the tutorials are 2 seconds long, and the cursor just goes to a button and like, oh, it's
yeah,
right
that's
there.
it.
Like,
It's
yeah.
really simple. So, are there any specific places online that you are learning Logic from?
I do look at YouTube tutorials once in a while. Fortunately, since I've used GarageBand quite a while,
Uh-huh.
even for school projects, sometimes Logic has a very similar interface to
Right.
GarageBand. Of course, there are much more complexities inside it.
Right.
So a lot of more detail, time flexing, and all of those crazy big words, with all of those cables and sliders and all of those different panels.
Yes.
But Yeah, so if I want to know what something does, or if I'm trying to do something, let's say I'm trying to, change the reverb of one specific section, I'll
Right.
search it up on YouTube, and instantly on Google there's that one big video that comes up. So
Yes.
you just click on it. It's maybe a 30-second video with one guy who talks. Sometimes there are 10-minute long videos of guys who just keep talking and talking, and then you
And
you
they
have to
don't get to the point. So
skip.
they'll tell you
Yeah, yeah,
everything. Yeah,
exactly.
so please watch this video till the end. Firstly, they'll say that.
Yeah,
Then they'll say, please
yeah,
subscribe and like, because we are always
yeah,
talking about music, like,
yeah,
videos like this. And then
yeah.
they'll tell you everything but what the video was supposed to
Yeah,
tell you.
exactly.
Oh,
The
man.
title is like not related to the video at all. So, but yeah, that's how I also, fortunately, like I said, I have a teacher. A teacher, so he produces music, so he's actually a professional producer as well as a teacher. So if I have questions, he's always open to letting me ask him, and he's always given me useful tips. So yeah,
Super,
that way I'm
man.
pretty
And
lucky.
if there is anything that I can help you with in Logic, just feel free to, ask me.
Okay, that's great.
And tell me something more, man. Like, because you are, somebody who's lucky enough to have parents who have guided you, and you yourself also have some kind of a direction as to what you want to do.
Yeah.
But Brad, in all honesty, what are some of the mistakes that you see a lot of young people around you make and waste their time?
Very nice question. I will say that because it happens all the time. In my school, I see a lot of people doing nothing. I see a lot of people in lunch break. There are people who just sit and talk and do nothing. And in lockdown now, I feel like I would not like to be rude, but I'd say lockdown has been kind of, productive to me in a certain sense that I've got so much time to do stuff, so that way it's been good and bad, but I know a lot of friends of mine have nothing to do, absolutely nothing.
And I think
And
it's not just
so,
nothing to do; they want to do nothing also.
yeah, they also want to do nothing. So 80% of their day goes into gaming and goes into spending time doing nothing. They don't even leave the house because there are excuses. You can say, no, there's the COVID cases are up, and so I can't go down, just for a walk in the
And I
compound.
think the lazy people in this time have taken the coronavirus ka bahana and made
Yeah, yeah,
themselves
yeah.
more lazier.
And I have been a culprit myself. Yes, I have
Yes.
also told my parents, no, I can't go down. Look at the news. It's all crazy. I can't go down today. But they don't budge. So eventually, I do end up, doing the. And I've also noticed that it's very important to do it, because when there are, let's say, I have a class or a meeting at 5 o'clock, when generally I am going down, or for a walk or something. I notice that it plays a big part in your mental health. It is very important for you to leave the house, get some fresh air. Now people are sitting in their homes with AC on full blast, just watching videos, gaming, doing nothing. And now with studies also, people are, with online school, studies has also become a very difficult thing to do. Like, the teachers are just sending you video links. That's how a class goes. And in my school especially, it's been much more crazier, because our school has not cut down on timings for classes, and every class is 1.5 hour long, 85 minutes long.
Whoa.
So we have 4 classes in a day, 7 hour long day of school. Many schools have understood that it's difficult, and so they've cut down maybe 2 hours. Our school has kept it 1.5 hours for each class, with 15-minute breaks in between. One lunch break, which is almost an hour, but it's so difficult to focus for 85 minutes online. Like, I know so many people who come, log into class, mute themselves, put their camera off, and leave. And the teachers are not even bothered to ask, can you
Whether
put your
those
cameras
people
on
are
any?
there,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Some teachers, when this situation had started off, they would take attendance a second time in class to make sure everybody's there. But then, the students will also know that, okay, chal, the teacher's saying attendance, might as well, just be there for the attendance, then leave. So yeah, so I mean, it's very easy to disconnect. Like I said, I'm super lucky that I've managed to find this passion at this time,
Yeah.
now I can spend so much time working on my passion, and it's productive to me. It's something that I will benefit from, whereas many people who don't have any idea what to do, it's not like they're learning something new. Like maybe there would be one or two people who are learning an instrument. At least they can spend 2 or 3 hours of their day doing something more productive.
Yes.
But there are people who just nap, who just watch Netflix, who just game. And it's just a right now it's a very it's a difficult situation. So it's difficult to understand. Everybody is for themselves now. You need to understand how to use your time wisely, how to balance is the most important thing. To understand that you have to have something to do productive in the day. You have to make sure you're not just wasting time. And with this lockdown, it's not a short while. It's been going on for a year, and I'm sure it's going to be going on for at least a few more months. So it's important to have a certain like system, have a way to make sure you're doing something in the day. I've tried to make a schedule for myself, make sure I'm practicing my singing once a day, make sure I'm at least getting off the screen from time to time, you know also making sure I'm trying to study, but it's difficult. So it's a difficult.
And what are the other things that you're like? Are you into books at all, or
Actually, I am not a very academic, person. I don't like, I have certain interests in certain subjects, but there are some that I just cannot focus on. And especially now, it's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I get worried that others doing more than me, or what should I do? And especially with grades, and now that I'm in ninth grade going to 10th, it's gonna start mattering now and sometime. So yeah, it's difficult, but I have not really been that studious. I have been like I'm very interested in math, so I have math classes and things like that. So I am very studious in certain subjects. I still won't say very studious. It's not like I get full marks, but I
Right.
do well in certain subjects.
You're more
Certain
interested in
subjects,
those
yeah,
rather than others?
yeah. And but certain subjects are just not for me. Like I cannot read, I cannot do my English class, I cannot sit down and annotate a novel so that I can write an essay about a story that's not even true. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Your facial
So
expression is telling me exactly how interesting you find it.
yeah. And like it's not my thing to sit down and learn a new language. Like I know right now I'm
French or Spanish or
struggling.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm struggling to learn Spanish and things like that. But I'm also managing to do fairly well in my maths, in my science, in my humanities. So yeah.
But
Okay.
this whole can you imagine, we're actually almost through with an hour, man. We've been talking for an hour and it's been so much
Oh
fun.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
So
fun.
super, man. Is there any message, Brad, that you would like to give to people who are listening to you in 65 plus countries?
Yeah, I think right now the most important piece of information I have right now, or advice, would be to spend this time in lockdown wisely, because it's probably in the future it's going to be the most time you have that's free to yourself. My mother was also saying that right now, before lockdown and COVID had begun, the world was such a fast-paced place. Everything was going on, everything was rapid. You need to do things, you need to focus. There's no time for yourself. You cannot focus on your passion as much as you would right now. So I'd say, no matter what age you are, no matter what school you are in, whatever you're doing, try and find something that you can use wise. You try and find time, and try and find a hobby or a passion that you can do. Like for me, music. For some people it could be learning a new subject, learning a new language also. So try and use your time wisely. This is a lot of time that we've got on our hands now. The world has become a slower place. Everybody is trying to get accustomed to this new way of living. So use the time to your advantage. Try and figure out something that you can do that will benefit you, or that will even make you happy. but don't sit wasting your time. Don't, do gaming for 14 hours a day. You know what I mean? Just find something that, at least you can spend part of your day knowing, okay, when you go to sleep, you know that today I did something that I'm proud of, that I managed to spend my day doing something other than sitting in my room with the lights off, with the AC on, doing nothing. So yeah.
Superb, man. That is something that I think applies to everybody, not just people
Yeah.
your age, but any
Exactly.
age. And
Yeah.
there is absolutely no reason for you to run away from that fact that this time could actually mean a lot if you use it correctly, or it could
Exactly.
amount to absolutely nothing if you want to waste it.
Exactly. You
And
need to
nobody's
know
there to
how
check you.
to. Yeah, people can end up like, I know people who've focused on like fitness, for example, and have transformed because there's so much time, that you can spend so much time doing whatever you want. And I know people who've done absolutely nothing. So it completely depends on you.
Thank you so much, Brad, for your time. I think that pretty much wraps it up for the episode. I think you're a wonderful example of a kid who is more or less on the right path. All right, and even if you mess up, you won't mess up so badly that you'll completely go off it.
Yeah.
I know, I'm pretty sure, that your parents have done an awesome job of guiding you, being there for you, and
Yeah.
showing you the right direction, in terms of telling you what you should do, telling you
Yeah.
what you should not do, setting your boundaries, but at the same time, giving you the freedom, and
Studies.
you're an excellent example for so many people out there, not just your age, but people from all brackets and parts of society who are actually watching us right now.
It was amazing. I actually think I have not talked to anybody in this like for so long, in really long. It's definitely been good because I managed to express my feelings about music and my passion. Yeah, it's honestly been a great hour, a very useful hour of the day. Tonight I'll sleep knowing I did something useful in the day.
Absolutely, man.
If you're doing something, you should always be happy to share it with other people, and it should not be something you're embarrassed about. Even if I was in my first year of learning music, I'd always be interested in sharing what I'm doing with you. Especially a guy who's as open and comfortable as you are. How fun your shows look. So I would say there's absolutely no reason that you should try and hide from it. You should just have fun, and it's also a great conversation to have with you. It's a good fun hour. So
Thank you
yeah.
so much, man. And if anybody out there who wants to be on the Ashish David show, just like Brad Pagdiwala was, it's pretty simple. Just make a 3 or 4 minute video telling me about what you saw in the episodes that you liked, why you'd like to be on the show, and a little brief introduction. That's it. Just WhatsApp it to me on +91, which is the India code 8100810032, or you can email it to me. My email address is a little funny. It's tubelighton@gmail.com. Okay, it's pretty simple. That's all you need to do, and you'll be on the show just like Brad was. Brad, again, thank you so much for your time. I hope the next time I talk to you, you have a bunch of more fun stories to tell me, and we'll have another hour of madness.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you,
Thank you so
bro.
much for having me.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening, and thank your parents from my side for letting you be a part of this
Yeah.
show. And you have a lovely evening, man.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.